Now I'm going to walk you through an example of how you can look at the available capacity in your organization all up and make sure that your resources are utilized. Let's jump right into an example. In Dynamics AX, I open up the resource availability view, where it now shows all the resources in the current legal entity that can be scheduled on work. As you can see, on the left-hand side, you're seeing the list of resources, and on the right-hand side, you're seeing their availability, highlighted in different colors. Green means Vladimir, in this example, is fully available all along. Dark blue means the resource is fully booked. And let's use it as an example. Yoshiro seems to be fully booked on this first week. Let's see what he is doing. So basically all I do is that I will double click and I will see the list of project or projects or even quotations that have his capacity booked. I can see he's working on a project, I can see the name of the project, and I can see the project manager. Right from here, if I want, I can send an email to the project manager and do the process of conflict resolution. I can also see how exactly his capacity is being consumed on this specific project, right? I can see on a day-to-day basis how his capacity is being consumed. There are some resources that are marked with an asterisk key here. That simply highlights that the resources are having soft booking or tentative bookings on quotations. During pre-sales, you have been assigning them on some specific project quotations. You can also see resources highlighted in light blue, which means their capacity is not fully booked, but partially booked. In other words, they have some available capacity that you can consume right away. You can also change the date range view. What if I want to look at my available capacity on a month-by-month basis instead of weeks? You can see that as well. All up, May, June, July. I can also customize the view from any start date to end date that I want. I can also see specific information about how many hours this resource has available. You can clearly see some resources have no hours available, some resources have a lot of hours available, and some resources have some resources available. I can go to the next and see more resources. And clearly, there is a resource here for the month of June that is been booked fully. When I double click, obviously I can see that why my resource is being overbooked. There are two projects that have him overbooked. They are both about ERP, one is implementation, one is customization. I can reach out to the project manager and release the resource as I want. I can also filter the resources based on the legal entity that they are hired at. For example, what if I just want to look at resources in Contoso Consulting USA? I can simply filter the list and you will just see Contoso Consulting resources being displayed here. I can also search by name. If I'm looking for a resource, I remember I was working with him and his name was Peter. Peter Houston will show up and I can see his availability. I can use other organizational hierarchies like org that we just looked at or department hierarchy and again filter the resources based on that. I can add specific roles. What if I'm looking for people that have played senior developer role in past? And I definitely want that to factor in. I can now look at senior developers in my organization. People that have played senior developer role in my organization will show up. So we talked about resources. We talked about how you can visualize them here and understand how they are being consumed on the project. Let me just clear up the UI a little bit and see how I can do assignments right from here. I can see Vladimir is available and I can grab his capacity and right from here I can assign all of his capacity or even specify a specific number of hours of his capacity, and I would say I want him to be booked in this selected period of time for 10 hours on this specific project, where the system will automatically book him on this project. So one role as senior developer has been added, and Vladimir has now been booked as that resource. I can do it with soft booking as well. So not only you can visualize all the resources, what they're doing, you can, right from here, you can keep them utilized by assigning and booking them on projects. There is another model of assignment that we need to show, and that is in our resource list page. So these are all schedulable resources that you can book, or the resources that have been lent to this legal entity. You can see resources from SUSP, which is the current legal entity I'm in, and resources from SFRA, which is another legal entity that has agreed to lend its resources to. Even from here, I can select resources and hard and soft book resources. Here, I don't have the flexibility of specifying start and end date. The project start date and end date will drive the booking. So basically, I'm now booking Michael on this project, and it informed me that Michael has some booking against this project. And I want to book only the remaining capacity. So now I'm assigning by using project start date and end date. Whereas in the previous UI, we were able to do that with selecting any period of time that we want. So there are two different models that we support. Again, you can select continuous periods or non-continuous periods and assign resources on those dates to a different project. I can here select a resource, and I say for the reporting customization project, assign 50% of its capacity to the project. So right from here, I can do that easily. All my resources are now being consumed, the resources that I want. I can go. I am seeing a lot of overbookings that I can drill down. And if you want to drill down into non-continuous blocks, you just select them, right-click, and then say Show Booking Details. And you can see how the capacity of the resources are being booked there. So in this scenario, I can see Armando is being booked, and definitely there are the days that Armando is being overbooked. If you want to release a resource from all of their assignment, you have a couple of options. You can select the period of time that you want and say cancel booking, which is removing that resource from all of the projects that he or she has been assigned to and booked to. Or you can select and right-click and say release. The resource will be released from those projects as well. So it's a very flexible UI that you can choose any period of time that you want and book resources on different projects.